In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can use the attributes placed upon a mapped survey point to comprise the content of the label that we see when we apply the model annotation. And so in this example, I have three very simple survey shots, one for a manhole, one for a tree, and then one for another manhole. And I have purposely made the attributes different between the manhole and the tree. And so you'll see, for example, in line 2 that we have an attribute name called mh-type, and that attribute's value is storm. And then we have manhole-dia is 4 foot, pipe in is a 12-inch RCP, pipe out is a 15-inch RCP. Then we have a tree where the attribute name is called tree-type and the value is oak. And then we have tree-diameter and the value is 24 inches, tree-removal and the value is yes. And then we have another manhole, and I have purposely taken the manhole from 4 attributes down to 3 attributes where I have the type, the diameter, and only an out specification of the pipe. There was no pipe coming in. And so I think that this will demonstrate how we can set up a generic text favorite that would have, let's say, for example, a total of maybe 7 lines or 8 lines that we support, where a user could in the field put in as many as up to that maximum number of attributes within that particular shot. So how would we create that text favorite? To do that, so what I'm going to do is in my place text command, I'm going to build a text favorite. Now, typically you would want to build your text favorite in your text favorites DGN library, where you would reference in a survey file that had some things mapped where the attributes were accessible, because you're going to need those to actually build this text favorite. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a text style, and then I'm going to begin to build my text favorite. And so what I want to do is set this up for a maximum of 10 rows of attributes to give the surveyor plenty of flexibility. And so I go to my insert field command, I select element properties, and I can just pick any one of these to build this. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to select the first entry here, and it's going to read the attributes. And so all I have to do here, instead of doing a dash, I'm going to put in an star or an asterisk 1. And then when I tab out of that, you'll see that it returns the value of the first attribute. If I want to see the MH dash or the manhole type, I can set that to true. And then you can see that the separator, well, maybe I want a space equals space, tab out, and then you would see that would be the first line of your annotation. So manhole MH-type equals, and then the value is storm. And we'll select OK to that. And then we're going to press return, and we're going to do this for the next row. So we'll go to element properties. We will select a manhole. It doesn't really matter. Pick our pairs. And this time I'm going to change this to, I want this to be my second row. And so when I tab out, now you'll see manhole-dia equals 4 feet, and we'll select OK. And we're going to just keep repeating this process. So we'll go to our third line, and again, go to element properties. And just to show you, it doesn't matter which one I pick or how I do this. So this is going to be our third row of our attributes. And so we'll tab to accept that, and we'll select OK. Again, what's in here is all going to be recomputed at the time of annotation, so it really doesn't matter. And then we'll do our next one. And so we'll come in, element properties, and we'll select our field. This is going to be row 4. Now, row 4 here is blank. Does that matter? Nope, it doesn't. You just let it be. You press enter, and we keep going. So I'm going to go down to element properties and select this one again. This will be row 5. So we'll select our field, and I'm going to say row 5 is here. and tab. And then I'm going to stop at 5 just for keeping the video short. I want to select all of this with my mouse. Then I want to right click and I want to select Save Text Favorite and Accept. And then I'm going to go down to what it created. So it'll start with those letters. Right click and rename. And I'm just going to call this Survey Attribute Label. Press enter, and now we have that text favorite created called Survey Attribute Label. Okay, we're going to close this, and now in our annotation groups, I have an example kind of set up here, very simple one. But I'll go down to that entry of this Survey Attribute Label that I created. I'll manage that, and I'm just telling it to place some text, and I've set the element template for the symbology of that text and tell it angle value of 0 and to be view independent. But I need to set that text favorite now that I just created, and so I'm just put the favorite in my test file here. You would obviously put that in your master DGN library. And so we've got that added, and we can come in and take a look at that. I think that's going to probably just show us a dot at this time because it doesn't have anything to really read. And so we will go ahead and close to save that change. And then the other thing that we have to do is to make sure that that annotation group is plugged into all of my feature symbologies. And so if I go down here to my point features under utilities and then manhole, for example, I'll select my properties and I will have an annotation group selected there called that survey attributes label that I created. And then the same thing then for my tree. So here's my tree, and again I have the same annotation group. And so really I can make one annotation group, this survey attributes label, and put as many rows in there as I think I would ever need, save that as a text favorite, assign it to a singular annotation group, and then assign that annotation group to all of your feature symbologies that you would want to honor that particular annotation. Once that text favorite is created and then it is assigned to your feature symbologies, then it's just a matter of going to your drawing production and then select on Annotate Model. And once you select Annotate Model, you will just accept, and then we will see the annotation that matches up with the attributes that were put in the raw survey data file. And so you don't need to make a bunch of different annotations for labeling of your survey. If you put them generic and then set up the maximum number of rows that you want for your label, then you can go ahead and label the attribution as you have seen here.